Good day, everyone. Welcome to our information session on our upcoming AI Leadership Accelerator. I'm Christina Susak. I'm the head of professional programs at UC Berkeley College of Engineering Center for Entrepreneurship and Technology. Thank you for joining us. And you might be wondering, should I take this class at Berkeley? Why Berkeley? Not a day goes by that I'm not asked what is distinctive of Berkeley. And I like to talk about a three-pronged value proposition. So, of course, at the top, it's academic. We're the #1 public university in the world. We have more Nobel Prize winners than Stanford and Harvard combined. So everything you learn here is going to be grounded in the latest academic research, giving you the business edge. But that's not enough. You're a busy executive. We know that. You want to learn from people who understand your world. So all our classes are designed to be very practical and very actionable. We only design them with our faculty that have active global consulting portfolios and understand your world. So we have academic, we have practical, and then of course we have aspirational. We're Berkeley. You don't come to Berkeley to copy what everyone else is doing. You come to Berkeley to get out of your comfort zone and to experiment, to rapidly iterate, ask why not, and to be bold and audacious. So #1 public engineering school, #1 in venture creation with our Berkeley Skydeck, #1 public university. So when I talk about practicing what we preach and being on the forefront of technology, our alumni include Eric Schmidt, Ali Godsey, Jan Stoika, Steve Wozniak, Diane Green, Shantu Narayan, etc. So why you're here? You're here to learn the practical side, and there's a lot of noise, a lot of disparate commentary about the world of AI and how it's rapidly changing. So you're here to have a unique opportunity to be with the movers and shakers, the people who are defining the future of AI. In fact, our faculty director, David Gallagher, who you're about to meet, had a sit-down interview a few months ago with Professor Stuart Russell, who's an annual speaker at Davos. And with all the AI fervor the last couple of years, companies are actually coming to Berkeley saying, what should we be working on next? So that's why you should be in the room, to untangle what your organization is doing, should be doing, find out where you are in the AI trajectory, and what is your readiness to compete not only domestically, but globally. So next is who should participate in this class. So any role that is in the C-suite, CEOs, CTOs, heads of strategy, senior directors, partners, founders, really AI is touching all industries: tech, telecom, energy, social impact, government, finance, or you might be an individual who just wants to educate yourself and be in the room with some of these people to really understand what's happening. So as we know, titles are very varied, depending on sizes of companies, maturity of companies, and so on. So I like to tell people, look at what the content is and if the content resonates with you. Another beauty of coming to Berkeley is the program is not corporate sponsored. So you're going to hear from the latest and greatest from top practitioners and academicians, and you'll hear some disparate views. So you'll get to walk away and make your own decision. Another important part of all our programs here at the College of Engineering Center for Entrepreneurship and Tech is you'll be moving at a very rapid pace with a lot of disparate views, a lot of rich content, and you might sometimes feel that it could be a little hard to keep up. So we create an action toolkit for you that has all the main thematics of the program, and on the back side of the spiral card deck, it'll say, okay, how do I action this within my organization? How do I see if our AI governance is actionable? How do I double check our product strategy? How do I tell my team, what I did for these 3 days at Berkeley and provide guidance to them? So this action toolkit will allow you to do that. So without further ado, it's time for me to introduce our guest speakers. So we have David Gallagher, who is an industry fellow here at the College of Engineering. And it was actually David, and he ran engineering for the Western region for T-Mobile and ran the Transform program. And it was actually David that came to me a year and a half ago and said, when I was in the C-suite, we would have, the CMO, the CIO, the CTO, the CFO, all parading and creating perhaps a little bit of confusion with the CEO. And he had a hard time untangling fact from fiction, how much of this is egos parading versus what I really need to do. So David thought it was important that we create content specifically for this audience. So I'll have him introduce himself a little more richly in a moment. And then we have Cheryl Porro Johnson, who used to run product and tech for Salesforce and sent her teams to all of our programs here. And she was a participant in the last program. She's the head of technology and product for Better Works. So David, take it away.
Okay, thanks, Christina. And welcome, Cheryl, and thanks for agreeing to talk to this audience. As an alum from the previous program in February, I think your perspective will be pretty valuable for people considering the next iteration of this program. I'll talk a little bit later about how we've evolved this program, because if there's one thing about AI, it's moving really, really fast. So we've got to keep up with these changes, and we want to keep the content current and relevant for folks. So I wondered if you could just give the audience your perspective on first what attracted you to the program in the first place. And so you attended the AI for the C-suite in February of this year, which was the first iteration of this program. So you could tell the audience a little bit about why you were attracted to that program.
Absolutely. Nice to see you again, David. It's been a while since February, but happy to be here and provide some firsthand experience with the program. Listen, I've had a relationship with Berkeley in particular, especially as it pertains for my own executive education, for probably a good 15 years. So I always know that an experience I'm gonna have at Berkeley is just going to be stellar. And I tend to not hesitate if I can make it work schedule-wise to show up. And when I saw this particular program, it was really, I think, meeting a very relevant, urgent need for me. So we've been pretty aggressive in adopting generative AI in particular at BetterWorks, but wanting to do so because we're in HR tech, right? So we're all about kind of humans, wanting to do so in a way that was responsible, ethical, really important for us. So grappling with a lot of, ambiguity, complexity. And I had a good sense that, Berkeley was really going to bring the right kind of experience in this couple of days that was going to help me make even deeper sense of the landscape of generative AI. So that's what originally attracted me to the program.
That's good. Good to hear, Cheryl. And maybe just give us a little bit of perspective on, what it was like to be in the class. I mean, what did you enjoy most about the program itself?
Yeah, and you never know, right? Especially with a program like this, where it's a pretty technical topic, but there's a lot of kind of outside of the deep technical aspects of it, a lot of the, other concepts you're going to have to grapple with, strategic concepts, whether it's things like safety, responsibility, the economics, the kind of geopolitical, I mean, all of it really comes into play. So showing up, like, number one, just stellar kind of teachers, right? Professors and presenters like yourself that are kind of deeply knowledgeable, along with conversations with just pretty amazing plugged in CEOs, founders, and other experts. And then the other people in the room, right? So you're also with a bunch of peers that are really interesting to get to know and get to talk to. So anytime I come out of a Berkeley program, I feel that much richer just from all of those aspects of the experience. And it's dense and condensed, which I love because I don't have a ton of time, to go and to step away from business. We were really busy in February, so it was tough to step away. But because I knew it was going to be, like I said, really dense and delivered in a way that was going to be actionable, that was why I showed up. And that's kind of what I had from the experience. And beautiful setting too. I never mind spending time on the Berkeley campus. Lots of beautiful locations that we had our classes in, and it was an overall really great experience.
Yeah, thanks, Cheryl. I think you touched on something really important here, that this is different from an online program, right? There's a ton of online AI programs that you can attend. This in-person experience is designed to be, you learn as much from your peers and your fellow classmates, and hopefully you establish long-lasting relationships with some of the folks in the program. They're tackling and grappling with the same problems that you are at work, maybe in a very different industry sector. So I think that's one of the richnesses of the program in having it in person, is that you're in a room not just with experts, world leading academics and practitioners, but you're in the class with a bunch of people who are facing the same challenges in the real world that you are. So I think that's an important aspect of the learning. And by the way, you were a great participant in the class, and I think you brought a lot to the conversation. So I think that's really thank you for doing that. And I think that's really what we're looking for here is active participation. We're all going through this together. There's nobody can really predict accurately where this technology is going. So we're on this journey together, and I think it's important that you establish those relationships and friendships with others going through the same thing. So yeah, let's just talk just briefly about when you went back to the workplace. I've attended. I'm not a career academic. I've been in technology as an executive for most of my career, and you go to these programs, and then they're great, and then you go back to the real world. You go back to the workplace and Monday morning, and all the work that you haven't been attending to while you've been at class is piled up, and there's a tendency that maybe some of the lessons and learnings get lost. What was your experience going back to the workplace after this experience?
Yeah, as I was saying, right, this space there's a lot to kind of grapple with. And I do think what was so unique about the experience, and I agree, right, like being all together in person, especially when you're, like I said, I was going through a really busy time. And I know if I was on an online experience, I probably would have been looking at my email. Can't really do that, right, when you have your presenter right there in front of you. So it really helped me stay kind of focused and get the the most out of those 2 days. And when are you going to hear from people like Ali Ghodsi, right, CEO of Databricks? So, a stellar company, high growth, really at the forefront of what's happening around AI, hearing from someone like that. And then I so appreciated hearing from Anka Dragan, right, a professor at Berkeley, also head of AI safety for Google DeepMind. Because like I said, we care deeply. I personally, and I know our company cares deeply about getting this right from a human standpoint. So, it's not like you're coming out with a lot of easy answers, right? But a much deeper sense of what are the kind of strategic implications of generative AI in the kind of context of business. And when I came back to the office, it was validating. I think a lot of how we were approaching Gen AI was validated based on what I heard, right, from that broad group. Like, good that we're being aggressive because it's appropriate right now, right? You don't want to be a laggard, right, with this disruption. It's that isn't, you don't want to put your head in the sand, right, is the way I look at it. So really eyes wide open, understanding kind of what's in front of us, but making sure we're, like I said, doing so in an absolutely responsible, ethical way. And that's one thing I love, by the way, about Berkeley is, top of the game, but always with this real sense of the broader impact to humanity. So it's not just like a kind of profit first approach, right? It's like, how do we bring technology, innovation, disruption, but in a way that really is for the greater good. So that is another important element, I think, for me. So coming back, it really just generated more kind of conversation within the executive team around our approach. Like I said, it was very reaffirming of our approach. And it's so important, I think, too, as an executive, to get beyond the hype. There is the kind of hype around Gen AI, and yes, it is really impactful and it is really disruptive, but going way deeper is I think we're accountable to that as leaders in our organization. So I left just feeling like I had a much deeper understanding of all the kind of strategic implications of Gen AI in the context of business, that I can facilitate those conversations amongst my peers in my company and outside my company as well.
That's great. Great to hear that. And thanks so much, Cheryl, for both your participation in the program itself and for agreeing to talk to us today.
Absolutely. So great. Thanks, David.
Take care. Okay, so just a program overview. Like Christina said at the outset, this AI for the C-suite program was my idea. Based on a real need that I saw from executives like I used to be and friends that I still have in the C-suite, to sort of fill this void of, what to do. Board of directors are putting pressure on CEOs. We need an AI strategy, but CEOs maybe not quite sure exactly what to do. So that was the original incarnation. And then, one of the things that we added this time is a much more practical implementation phase of the program. Most companies and most individuals now have gotten their feet wet with AI, right? They've run personally, they've been exposed to it. They're using ChatGPT or Claude or whatever. Industry companies are running pilot programs, getting their feet wet with pilots. But the fact of the matter is that MIT and McKinsey just came out with a report recently that said that most AI implementations at the commercial level are failing. Something between 85 and 95% of AI implementations are failing today. So I wanted to dig into that and really understand, why are these programs failing? Why are the return on investment expectations not being met by today's AI solutions? And really sort of try and tackle that from a very practical standpoint. I'm an engineer, I'm a practitioner, I'm not a career academic. I'm looking to see how AI can actually help solve problems and drive business results. So that's one of the changes that we've made to this program. You know, we've still got the deep academic content, we've still got the industry practitioners, but we've added a lot more of the element of people who have actually implemented AI or tried to and not been successful, and then trying to understand the reasons why that implementation was not successful. So the program structure, it's a 3-day program. You'll see on the screen here. So day one, we're going to focus on vision, and then strategy, and then implementation. So there's a natural evolution as we go through the 3 days from, you know, sort of high level, maybe making it a little bit more relevant to your particular situation, and then finally focusing in on an action plan that you can take back to your workplace after the program. And then within each of the 3 days, what I've tried to do is design 3 elements for each of the 3 days, right? Lots of threes. So within day one, you know, there's an academic piece where you're going to hear from, you know, the leading academics in the field, from, you know, Berkeley professors that Christina talked about. And then, but also you're going to hear from the industry itself, from AI. What is the developers of AI? We talked about Ali Godse and others that are really at the forefront of developing this technology. And then the third element is we're going to hear from actual practitioners, people who have actually implemented or tried to implement AI across a range of industry sectors to get their experience and see what lessons we can learn from them. So within each of the 3 pillars, each of the 3-day programs, we've got those 3 segments of topics of what we're going to talk about, and focused from an academic, from an industry, and then from actually implementing. So that's the program. Hopefully you can all see the details here. We're going to hopefully leave you with, at the end of day 3, you know, a roadmap and will help to mentor you through, and, you know, to actually take away something. Christina talked about the action toolkit. You know, we don't want this to be a static class where you listen to a bunch of lectures and then you think, oh, that was pretty interesting, and then you go back to business as usual on Monday morning. We want you to take this action toolkit and the lessons and the program that you've started to sketch out as a result of being a participant here, and take that back to the workplace and start a new day with a new set of action plans where you can actually start to move this thing forward and use what you've learned to actually drive action within your organizations. Just a quick look at the faculty, the speaker lineup. You know, we've got, I won't go through all of them for interests of time, but you can read their bios and their profiles. I mean, these are world leading experts in their field, you know, from Google DeepMinds to the Amazon robotics labs, and so on. I mean, these are really industry experts, and they're all got some affiliation with Berkeley, which is why they're here. They're either professors or alum, or you know, they've got some connection with the university. But they're all practitioners, as Christina said. They're all out there in the real world. So you're going to hear from these people a really up-to-date and real-world perspective. I mean, some of these individuals are high-level consulting with governments, with industry. You know, they're not just academics. They're practitioners as well. So I'm pretty proud of the lineup that we've managed to gather here for this iteration of the course. And I think you're going to get a lot out of being in the same room with and hearing directly from these individuals. Again, as Christina said, you know, you're not going to get one view of the world, right? There's a lot of different perspectives on this. So, you know, you're going to get a very diverse range of views, and not, you know, everyone's not going to be singing from the same hymn sheet. You're going to get some people are going to disagree with each other. They're maybe going to contradict. So, you know, there's a lot of different points of view and opinions, and I think that's what makes the course and the program so rich, is it will give you many, many different perspectives. What you get the practical framework. You get direct access to faculty. We're trying to do a lot of mixers, a lot of social engagements, opportunity at the break, at lunch, after the program, in the evenings, to mix with not just your classmates, your fellow participants, but also with the faculty and some of the speakers. So like I said, you're going to have a customized roadmap, and this could be the beginning of something. I mean, one of the things that we've done with other participants in previous programs is actually help them, mentor them through the journey after the program. So this isn't the end of the interaction. This is just the beginning of the dialogue and the relationship, and we'll help you navigate through this when you go back into your organizations, if that's something that you're interested in doing. Okay. I think that's it. I'll just close and hand back to Eva, and I just hope I'm pretty proud of what we've put together here. It's going to be an awesome program. It's as I say, rapidly evolving. I think you're going to get really up to the date thinking in this topic, and I hope to see you all there in October.
All right, thank you so much, David. Much appreciated. So just to give everyone a brief flavor of what the actual program logistics and practical aspects look like. I'm Eva Vischer-Simon, and I'm a program manager at the College of Engineering, and will be on site with this program. And we had a lot of fun, a lot of great discussion in February. And the schedule is a daily schedule from 9 to 5 p.m. With light breakfast before 9 so that we can have a little bit of mingling. And as David mentioned, we try to build in a lot of networking time, because your peers are also, an important network. And so we will have a welcome reception at the end of day 1. Again, more networking, more fun. You get to see more of Berkeley. We will provide, like I said, light breakfast, snacks, and lunch daily. So just so you're prepared and know what to expect. And we will be in our new Grimes Engineering Center that just opened just late spring. So it's a beautiful new building, and everything's brand new. It's buzzing and humming, and lots of students around, and right in the middle of campus. So very excited to host the program there. Most people who attend who are not local check out nearby hotels, some of which we have discount codes with and such. So we send that after you've enrolled. And speaking of enrolling, we'd love you to join us. So we do have a discount code of $1,000 off with the code AI1000. And actually, I'm going to skip ahead. Here you can see the QR code to go directly to the enrollment form. And we really hope to see your enrollment. And I'll just check really quickly if we have any questions. You can always email us, and we're happy to have a conversation as well to see if this is the right fit for you. And I'll bring Christina back up here to close us out.
Thank you, Ava. Thank you, David, Cheryl. Thank you for attending today. We certainly hope you will sign up and join us on the 27th, 28th, and 29th of October at the Berkeley campus with our extraordinarily luminous lineup that you can't get all these movers and shakers in the same room at the same time. That's kind of the toughest part of scheduling a program like this. So welcome, and we look forward to seeing you. Go Bears.
Thank you. Go Bears.